堂有堂律，家有家规。既然来的是我的家，便得遵守基本规则。燕子楼不像其他依取处，以下几条切记：着鞋者不得入楼，持信物者须通报方可入室。门代表着界限，倭国文化中的鸟居把人间和灵界分割开来，而你身后的这扇门则是带你进入我们1000多年前梦境的入口。梦是神秘的，也是脆弱的，一不小心就被破灭。若想停留在梦境中，你必须舍去使用任何把你带回现实的器皿。如果你无法舍弃，那你身边的梦中人便会引导你回到外界，因为没有任何存在比醉生梦死更可怕。
Welcome to the Stanford Arts Center, where the history of the building will meet its far more ancient counterpart. You know what they always say about how spirits and memories have an ability to recognize the familiar and return to haunt us? Well, I don't believe it. But what I do believe is for a portal to be opened up with the trigger of something familiar. Be it a smell, a thought, a particular spatial similarity, they are all powerful triggers to create this peculiar portal into another world. The world we know are all just made up of thoughts. So naturally, with just a shift in paradigm of your thoughts, you could be quite readily transported to a different realm. Of course, you need the help of the chosen one to discover it and help you through. Look at these green glass panels against the red frames. Did you know that such complementary color combinations were extremely popular during ancient Tang Dynasty China? Their beams and window frames were painted red against the green tiles. And as we are fast approaching twilight, where day and night meet, and the paradigms blur their lines, let's get ready for a new form of traveling experience in this post-COVID world. Aha! It's time. Here we go.
Tu Lang, here you are, just in time. I see that you brought a new friend. May I have the invitation letter, please?
I've saved you guys a fortune. Newcomers need to be touched double at a courtesan house. Unless you come with a familiar customer. Obviously, quality over quantity for these ladies. My name in this world is Duban. I got it from the Arabian Nights. He was a man of extraordinary talents. So, in case anyone asks, you're here with Tulang. That's how they address me. Before we start, remember some of the main rules. Shoes off, proper visiting robes, socks on, respect personal space, and never get too drunk. Decorum, decorum, decorum. The ancient equivalent of a modern day breath mint. Not recommended for consumption since it's 1200 years past expiry date, but I have it anyway because I have the time traveler's vaccine. Not for a weak stomach. No noisy beeping, third-party device or apps is allowed in this place of supreme beauty and joy.
贞观19年，唐玄奘从印度及中亚回长安，共带回佛舍利150粒，佛像7尊，经纶657部。随之，玄奘把17年西行之见整理成《大唐西域记》，记述了所经历的110个国家及传闻的28个城邦、地区、国家之概况，进一步把西域文化带入了中原，从而开启了东亚文化的新时代。汇集了所有精华的长安，也因此变得更昌盛。I will always remember my Tang era for its exuberating grandeur. Everything foreign was deemed desirable, and it filled everyone with awe and fascination. Like the whirling dance brought in from traders from Central Asia, the exotic glasswares, wine, and fruits from the West. And the Buddhist scriptures from India. Everyone danced fervently to those foreign music. And rhythms, or basking in the finest fruits and treats. It was as if the people knew that the end was near and indulged themselves for one last time before this dance and their stories faded into obscurity. When my late husband built this place for us, he named it Yanzilou, the Swallow Pavilion, in hope that we would build our future as a pair of loving swallows here. He was a true gentleman, a real warrior who kept his promise of marrying me as his one true love. Much unlike those sweet scholars whose talks of righteousness and morality obscure the cowardice of abandoning their courtesan lovers at the very first instance of objection from their family. They are afraid of losing their inheritance and connections. At Yanzilou, we are the connection that any aspiring scholar will ever need. Never mind the slave caste. We sit as equals across tables, from prime ministers, top scholars, foreign envoys, and even the emperor and Lady Yang. You would be lucky to even step through our gate or to brush past us along the streets. A courtesan is to be wooed, not commanded around. You have plenty of opportunities for that back home with a wife and concubine. Yes, you are paying to impress us. Let's see how you fare tonight. I see that you've chosen the lotus, a symbol of quiet resilience and wisdom, and an ancient symbol of ours made popular by the foreign religion Buddhism. There's no one in this entire courtesan house who can win a game of chess against Lian Er. And, like the lotus, she's quite a character.
More worldly people have adored the peony. My special love is for the lotus, which grows out of the mud that remains unsoiled. For all its beauty, remain free from selective guile. Are you one who loves the lotus as I do?
A lotus is pure and simple, just like how we hope our lives would be. Like a lotus that emerges in full bloom and trusts in light. It never bows to life as it is.
Yes, yes. You would think that it is independent of its environment and in control of its destiny. Yet, when you break its roots, you would find 3,000 strands of lotus silk binding its past and future together. We are never masters of our own fate. While we can't change the ending, we can certainly enjoy the ride. While you're here with us, we will keep those thoughts out of sight and out of mind.
Susu, I thought Lian and Yusheng said as long as we work hard, we will get out of this place.
Shh! We should never show our unrest and panic in front of the patron. We're here to help him forget his 3,000 strands of worries, not remind him.
Everything in the world follow a natural cycle of birth and death. All things we have is at the peak of its beauty. Flowers in full bloom, and the night is still young. There are 9 steps to appreciating a flower. Appreciating a flower in full bloom. It is only right that we accord her with the utmost respect and attention when we get her ready for display, because she is giving up her life at her most beautiful for our viewing pleasure. And this is the first arrangement of the day, to be gifted to the most important person in Yanzilou, Mama Pan. 绿俏, send this to 关云间 quickly.
Beauty exists because of its impermanence. Should we look at the spring blossoms only in full flower, or the moon only when cloudless and clear? As we admire the valiant blossoms in spring, lament too. Their fading petals are drifting down the streams. I'm pleased to have you here with us tonight at Yanzilou. You will be one of the first few to hear the newly composed poems we will be presenting this evening.
Li Qiao, get some warm tea for Ling Bing.
I'm fine.
Her condition is worsening. I'm worried about her.
I was reminded of the poem by our dear friend and patron, Wang Wei, Hong Mu Dan, the Red Peony. Do you know this poem? It's one of my favorites. We all love to look at the flowers when they're in full bloom, but only an extraordinary soul would see such beauty and think of the pain that it carries in its heart.
Now, to start off with our official record tonight, let's light the incense and begin our timekeeping for your encounter with the goddesses. The incense vary from vary from room to room, handpicked by the courtesans themselves. Let the feast begin.
Like the smell? It's the imperial courtyard transforming incense. Its sweet gum resin is obtained from Persia through India. Infused by yours truly in this very house. With the finest agarwood, snowy sandalwood, cat's eye deer musk, honey, and camphor. It never fails to transport me to the western land whenever it's lit.
Objects and scents carry our memories, and all these scents that you are smelling now, as they drift from room to room, they truly represent the most glorious period of Yanzilou, Chang'an, and our Datang.
If you have ever caught a glimpse of the grandest celebration in the whole of Datang, the Emperor's birthday celebration, you would never wish to return to where you came from.
This incense is made using a special recipe concocted by Lady Dai, who is a famous noble from my maternal ancestral place, dating all the way back to the Han period. She lived an extravagant lifestyle and knew how to entertain her guests. When night falls, she would be bringing out her best food and wine, corralling her own musicians, and donning the most luxurious silk gowns, while dancing and singing the night away. The recipe is made using a few special ingredients, some of which are my favorites, such as the sweetgrass and magnolia flowers. Other base notes include the lesser galangal, which is a form of ginger, and Chinese lovage.
The magnolia flower emits an aura of simplicity and elegance. Its noblesse is in no way marred by its humble status. This is the most admired flower at Yingweige, the chamber of floating blossoms. Not for its appearance, but for its spirit. I often give the literates who visit a single bulb of magnolia to bring back, as the shape is akin to that of a brush. The other day, I've given one to Ling Qing as well, as she too is fond of calligraphy.
Yes, indeed. Lingbing Nishong is too kind. I've just finished writing this poem for the flowers that Ying Nishong had arranged. Li Qiao, let's serve tea to our guest. I should let you know that the way we take our tea is different from the rest of Chang'an. Ling Bing, Ying, and I love to enjoy tea in its purest form, without the usual herbs, spices, and fruits. You can enjoy the natural fragrance of the tea leaves, which nourishes the body and the soul. We've convinced quite a few of our patrons to embrace this style of tea drinking. Would you like to give it a try?
Hey, have you prepared the flowers for Liana's room? Make sure you send the best wine to her. She'll be meeting Li Lang later. Oh, excuse me, sir. I don't think I've seen you around before. Which lady are you here to meet? She's currently with another guest. I'm afraid you'll have to wait. Chat with you. Are you sure, sir? I'm just a lowly serving maid. No one really cares to hear our stories, after all. You'll be the first to even ask our names. But that too isn't important. When you're a slave, you'll have to leave your past life behind and be known only as your master's property. I was named Xiao. I came to Yanzilou at the age of 15. The beauty and talent of the ladies dazzled us, but dreams don't last long for serving girls. I know my place as the humble moth. I was sold here to pay for my father's debts. He bankrupted the family with illegal money lending. If you carefully attend to the courtesans, you might catch glimpses of their tragic histories too. A mournful gaze in their eyes during the dance, a downward curve of the lips beneath their painted smiles. You may see their talents and splendid looks, but when the parting is over and the last guests are gone, we are all the same. Women of misfortune. Who are those girls, you ask? They're foreign dancers we have just acquired, Kunun slaves from Southeast Asia, and Sheila servants from Korea are all the rage these days. It's getting harder for a local like me to make a living. There's also a new craze for Indian dance and music, so our poor ladies have to keep learning new moves all the time. Thankfully, that's all beyond me. Oh my. Listen, this piece you're hearing is the Parliament tune. Apparently, the Emperor stole it. Was inspired by an Indian piece of music. And Lady Yang did a dance to it. Since then, everyone has been trying to perform it as well as she. It's been named the raiment of rainbows and feathers.
I've just got these from the West Market. The trader said that these are special sheep bones from up north. But I don't know what to do with these.
Hooper, please explain to her.
These are knuckle bones. It goes by many names, one being shagai. It has 4 distinct sides to it and is usually used for games. There is the camel with its convex surface, horse concave, sheep with horns pointing down, and goat with horns pointing up. It can also be rolled for divinations to predict fate.
Divination? Can we try? Gigi 女生, would you like to go first?
Three horses, 1 camel. One will come or come back soon.
Gigi 女生, do you have somebody special coming for you?
No, it's just my last one. Don't read too much into it.
"水柔竹气知难定，云出无心意在归。惆怅春风楚江暮，鸳鸯一只失群飞。I was born to perform. My aye was a musician, and my anyang a dancer. Their castes determined that I too would be condemned to a life of entertaining the powerful, and so I did. I danced for the most powerful man there can be, the Emperor Shengren himself. I filled the nation with songs and dance, elevated the status of entertainers like myself, with the hope that one day, perhaps, someone will look at us as scholars in arts instead of entertainers. And so I left the palace with a man who promised me happiness, only to realize that in exchange for a higher social status, I had given up my freedom of expression. So I left again. The women here each earn their own keep. They dance, sing, write, and entertain for the pleasure of their patrons, and also for their own enjoyment. Entertaining is the way we make a living, but also a way of life. As we move, you watch us, and we watch you watching us. We are no different from the imperial entertainers. The only difference is in our patrons. You've probably heard of Lady Yang Guifei, the emperor's new favorite concubine. We used to dance and sing together, Mama Pan, Lady Yang, and I, to newly composed poems by the great poet Li Bai, another great companion of ours. It was the best time of our lives, and the peak of Tang Dynasty.
这枫叶和芦花在秋风中摇摆，像是在带我和客人道别。江水倒映着明月，我举杯欲饮，却无月舞助兴啊！唉，为何连我们离别的时候都无法痛快地大醉一场？这哪儿来的琵琶声？莫非是上天同情我，送了我一位情乐仙子
？13岁学的琵琶虫，名属教坊第一部。曾经我弹的每首曲都令名门才子叹服，书的每一个妆容都会令同门歌妓们嫉妒。每次出演都会有武林贵族子弟争着献彩，日子是多么的风光，多么的无忧无虑。现在家道已破败，我也渐渐的老去，门前的车马和贵宾已不在，而我的青春也随着他们的离去而流逝。
哼，同是天涯沦落人啊，相逢何必曾相识。自我离开了长安城，便再也没有听过半点丝竹声。唉，春江花朝，秋江月夜，那样好的光景，也无法奈何长城曲酒，独酌独饮。固然这里有山歌和村笛嘛，只是那音调嘶哑粗涩，实在难听。今晚听你弹作琵琶，诉说衷情，就像听到仙乐，眼也亮来，耳也明。不如坐下，再为我弹作一曲，也让我赠你一首新诗《琵琶行》。
危楼高百尺，手可摘星辰。不敢高声语，恐惊天上人。I was born to a family of poets and scholars. You might think that this would be an asset in this entertainment house, but I was raised by the traditional Han teachings to be a good wife, to be obedient, faithful, and forgiving to whomever I would marry, not an entertainer who flutters around from man to man night after night. Mama Pan took me in to return a favor to my late grandfather, who had once helped her to escape from the palace. He was the one who taught me to read. From the Confucian classics to the popular poetry of his time. He was a brilliant man, but his life and family were ruined by political struggles within the Tang imperial court. Even on that fateful day, when our entire family was condemned into slavery, I never imagined that I'd end up in a place like Yanzilou, a place filled with frivolous laughter and high emotion, where words are overwhelmed by music and dance. As a child, I was taught that a woman should keep a calm and gentle demeanor. There are things that should be hidden deep below the surface, even in the face of tragedy and horror. Something is brewing in the palace, along the borders, and of course at Yanzilou.
Many of these silk and gem-clad women, well versed in the classical arts of tea, incense, painting, and chess, were born into respectable families before life threw them a curveball and they landed in where we are now. To them, this task of talking to patrons of similar background is as natural as breathing. But not for me. So I work hard at perfecting those skills. They said that I'm too competitive, an overachiever. They had no idea the sacrifices that I had to make to break through barriers of disadvantages as a result of my plebeian upbringing. I am the first to be up and the last to sleep, dedicating most of my waking moments, honing my craft, because I know the kind of life I want. I know I could change my reality if I change the way people view me. Not a poor girl standing at people's doors, begging from meal to meal, but one who sits as an equal across tables from scholars, generals, and aristocrats, wine cup in one hand and their secrets in another. Whoever controls information in this place controls everything. For several years now, I've been following Mama Pan and Li Yun into the palace to have occasional practice sessions with the court entertainers. It was a window of opportunity open to me the moment I was deemed worthy to perform and entertain at the Emperor's birthday celebrations. It was the most glorious and spectacular occasion in the entire year, and I still remember how insignificant I felt when I first performed in it. The Emperor's birthday celebration, also known as the Thousand Autumns Festival in those days, was the most splendid 3 days of my life. There were music, singing, dancing, illusion tricks, fire eating, and hundreds of different types of performances that were of the finest quality. The most impressive performance was when over hundreds of horses, decked in gold and silver embroideries, twirled and danced to the rise and fall of music, and at the end of each song, kneeled and toasted to the emperor, with wine cups in their mouths. It was a trick from the West, which I had only heard of, but I finally got to witness it. It was then too that I realized that I am worthy of greater responsibilities beyond this entertainment house. How I wish that this grandeur would never come to an end, just like the dancing horses with their endless tricks at what we now call the Festival of Eternal Heaven.
No one dances better than Lady Yang. She's such a natural. Words fail to capture her elegance. But Liang Er recently wrote a poem, and it's as close as it gets. Even Li Taibai praised it, and merely changed 2 words after reviewing.
Oh, yes. The musicians just finished composing a song that goes with the poem. Lately, I've been seeing her with the Indian dancer. Seems like she's acquiring a new skill to impress the whole loving patron. Shall we ask her to dance to her newly composed poem? Such talent should never go unnoticed.
Jin Ting Chun Zou，阴雨披新袖，白草巧球花下豆，只赌珠玑满斗。日晚却理残妆，玉前显舞霓裳。谁道腰肢窈窕，折旋笑得君王。Everyone in this place thinks that they are the smartest, kindest, luckiest, the chosen one. And so everyone tries to outshine each other, thinking that it is the only way to succeed in this fame-hungry and materialistic place. While you see riches, joy, and indulgence, I see greed, anger, delusion. I was born into a reputable military family. For generations, since the time of my great-grandfather, men in our family have served the court faithfully, leading troops and safeguarding the northern borders from foreign Turkic invasion. And this is what they sacrificed their lives for. My father passed away without any acknowledgement or mention in records. He was just a warm body, a number to the endless conquests. So, you think you have earned your place in this entertainment house, poets, high-ranked officials, wealthy merchants, oblivious to the sufferings and sacrifices of those thousands of miles away. How naive! Bodies and carcasses paved the way to the comfort we now enjoy, lest we forget. Perhaps it's time to reset. And I know just the person to do this.
They call me the whole party girl and make casual jibes at my rather full influence look, collections of full exoticas, and apparent popularity with the foreign merchants, saying that I would be the first to betray Tang if Chang'e was infiltrated by their barbarians. I laugh it off every single time. How could they, those frivolous merrymakers, possibly understand what it means to love others as though they were one of us? To them, the foreign culture is simply an exotic tool to fondle with, to appear fashionable and cultured. What they saw in me was just a projection of themselves. They shall never know how I lost my family at the Battle of Stone City against the Tibetan armies. And as the nation faces unprecedented threats from foreign invaders, I, too, swear my allegiance to the people of Tang. The Tang I know does not discriminate you based on your culture, ancestry, or belief. It should be a war against corruption, myopism, and oppression, not people. If you could return to 20 years ago, the peak of Tang, then all these worries would not exist. The day will come when the right person will make Tang great again, and I know just the person to do it.
I'm afraid I have to leave first.
Mama Pan, Liana Nushan has been missing since last night. This is the only box she left.
Stay calm. Keep this to yourself. Do not alarm the others.
What is time but the passing of seasons? The faint sound of bells chiming in the distance, and the collected ash from burnt incense. Our hair never grey, our cups never dry, as we create the dream worlds night after night. Once upon a time, ancient philosopher Zhuangzi dreamt he was a butterfly. Fluttering hither and thither, he was conscious only of his happiness as a butterfly, unaware that he was Zhuangzi. Soon he awaked, and there he was, veritably himself again. At that point, was he a man dreaming he was a butterfly? Or was he then a butterfly dreaming he was a man? Reality is fragile and untenable. Only dreams are safe. Our dreams tonight only lasts as long as each incense that burns, the music we play, and the dances we perform.
We are no longer guests of the palace anymore. The Emperor and Lady Yang have fled the capital, and rebel forces have occupied the city. To survive, Yanzilou has pledged allegiance to rebel forces. After all, the new era under An Lushan's army is known as the Yan dynasty. We have much more in common than you think. Naturally, if the emperor returns to the capital, we would all be charged with treason and be executed without mercy. So, let's drink to the best and the worst of times.
气雨三五喘，花上两三枝。话别一樽酒。相邀无后期。There are but a few breaths left in me. There are but 2 or 3 branches left with flowers. Just 1 cup of wine will make our toast, and we'll never meet again. There is not much I live for in this place. Besides, being in the company of beautifully written poems that soothe my aching soul and liberates me from this life that is beyond redemption. The rich and powerful seek my company, but their promises of fame and prosperity mean nothing to me. I only have eyes for the true lovers of words and poetry. There are often those who camp outside the grand household, trying to catch the attention of any nobility, with the hope that their poems would touch these influential patrons in a deep and profound way, so their talent would finally be uncovered. But little do they know, the houses they wait at only have eyes for their own kind. The world is never fair. The only thing I can do is to help them get their poems heard by these powerful patrons of Yanzilou. Perhaps the poems would have a different appeal after I sing them into songs at the grand parties, or after the patrons have had a few good drinks. If only I could live longer, then I could sing for more of them. If only I could make a difference.
Xiao, can I get the musicians to play Yue Ma?
Yue Ma? But I thought the horses went missing.
Come, let's drink.
I have always loved Chang'an. The wondrous sounds of music and dance. The splendid lanterns and beautiful flowers at every turn of the street. And the many different people in all kinds of dresses selling anything you can imagine. I had a perfect family. Until the Imperial Guards barged in and took everything I owned away, including my loved ones. I was only 6. I kept begging them to let my Aya go, and that I will be a good girl from now on. I will work hard at poetry, dance, music, just everything if they let him go. Li Yu 女兄 and Mama Pan took me in and brought me up in Yanzilou. This is my new family now. And then, An Lushan came with his army and soldiers. And like a nightmare that I kept having growing up, I see my new family falling to pieces again. Like the dancing horses at the Emperor's Festival of Eternal Heaven, I shall dance, like I've always done. I shall dance with so much fervor that maybe the soldiers will let everyone off. They can whip me for all they want. Maybe they think I'm insane, but I shall dance. Because that is the only way to redeem myself from this damned life.
长相思在长安，落为秋啼静静来，为霜凄凄颜色寒。昔时恒过目，今
I'm sorry. You have to excuse the other courtesans as they're busy at the moment. Let's enjoy the tea first.
We all love to look at the flowers when they're in full bloom, but only an extraordinary soul would see such beauty and think of the pain that it carries in its heart.
I never imagined that I'd end up in a place like Yanzilou, a place filled with frivolous laughter and high emotion, where words are overwhelmed by music and dance. There are things that should be hidden deep below the surface, even in the face of tragedy and horror. Something is brewing in the palace, along the borders, and of course at Yanzilou. When the night is all over, may I have the chance to deliver peace and blessings far beyond our eastern shore.
All the fine creations of our era ripped apart in wars and buried 7 feet under. And time showed no mercy on our memories, so we turned to dreams to retrieve the pieces we held closest to our hearts. Night after night, we relive our finest moments in those dreams, although reality was never that kind. 1,000 dreams make up a single moment, and 1,000 years make up this dream. When this dream ends, would you still remember the songs we sing, the music we play, and the poems we write? Or would you still think of us the same way, as just women of pleasure? When one dream ends,
another one begins with the new world order. Our art takes on a different path, and who is to say that it is inferior to the past? Instead of reading poetry and occasional singing, the words of the literatis were meant just for our songs now, and we will charm the world with our endless singing and dancing. Let the music play on as we drink to our heart's desire. Our legacy will live with the words we sing to, and you shall remember us.
we are the town courtesans. We witnessed the world and the transience of its opulent wealth, unsung talent, and inhibited pleasure.
We've just gotten this. There'll be an auction soon. I see it's not to your liking. Perhaps there may be one thing that would please you.